I'll have a conversation with you about it, but we're girls. I'm not having a conversation with men about it.
Joy Taylor is the ultimate sports journalist. From radio to television, she's got it all covered. You probably have first seen her on the Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, but she does so much more. Right now, she's on The Herd, and she even has her own podcast, Maybe I'm Crazy. I want to get into your life, what all of the amazing things that you are doing and that you started doing. So when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, wow. Well, when I was really little, I thought I was going to be president. I think that ship has sailed, although who knows now, because,
anybody can be president.
Anybody can be president. That's what we have learned. But yeah, I wanted to be president. I wrote my inauguration speech, my fellow Americans, the whole thing.
Wow.
One thing I did consistently when I was little was my mom had bought us one of those old VHS camera. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, so you might not know about this, but you know what VHS tapes are.
Yeah.
So cameras back in the day took the whole VHS tape in the camera.
Right.
We recorded it. We would do newscasts with, the hairbrush and set up a whole set in my room. And yeah, so I think I was always kind of destined to do television.
So growing up, you grew up in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
I have so much love for that city. That's where my parents met. Yeah, I think it's an amazing place. But what was it like growing up in Pittsburgh?
Well, Pittsburgh is a very blue collar, down to earth, family kind of city. Like most of the people that live in Pittsburgh, their families have lived there for a long time and no one really ever leaves.
Yeah.
But it's a sports town for sure. Everyone's a Steelers fan,
Yeah.
a Pirates fan and a Penguins fan, and high school football is really big in Pittsburgh. Western Pennsylvania is known for serious football players. And yeah, it's a great place to grow up. I love Pittsburgh. My mother still lives there. My sister and her 5 kids still live there. Most of my family is still there. So I try to get back a couple times a year, but it's a great place. There's a lot of real ones in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, definitely. They have a lot of good food in Pittsburgh too.
Yes, yeah. I mean, not the healthiest food, but we do have
No, absolutely not. I'm talking about the food, the sandwiches with the French fries on it.
Permanis.
Yeah. Permani Brothers. Yes, that's it. Love that place. Your family seems to be entrenched in sports too, right? Like your brother. So how important was that growing up?
Well, so my brother played, kind of my first memories of my brother were him playing football. He had a 15-year Hall of Fame NFL career, which was an incredible privilege to watch and experience. And it really shows you the personal side of sports. And, when you're covering it, that you're not just covering, these nameless, faceless people. Like they have families and feelings, and it sucks to get traded and it sucks to get cut, and it's hard to retire, and what do you transition to, and what are your interactions with front offices. Like there's a lot that goes into sports that's outside of just what happens on the field. And watching Jason's career was definitely beneficial for me to understand the business side of sports and the personal side of sports. I also ran track my freshman year of college on scholarship at IUP in Pennsylvania, which was a great experience too, because that, taught me how to, what it was like to be recruited by, multiple schools and go on recruiting trips and meet with coaches and, learn about the campuses and what was going to be required of you and what it was like to be a college athlete, which eventually was why I stopped being a college athlete, because it's a lot.
Right.
It's a big commitment, a huge time commitment, energy commitment. And so my younger brother played football as well. He played for Youngstown State and for Cal U. And so I have a lot of sports in my family.
Joy went from IUP to Barry University to study journalism.
So you went from being a college athlete to coming to Miami.
Yeah, so I finished school at Barry, which was a really great experience. I loved my time at Barry. They have a really great department there, broadcasting department, and I learned a lot of things that I still use today in my career. The number one thing being that you have to be able to write. That's all my professors said. You got to be able to write. You have to write. You have to write. And as a college student, you don't want to hear that because that's like more work. But it's true. Being able to write, being a competent and skilled writer is very important in the broadcasting business, because no matter what level you're on, whether you're Skip Bayless or an intern, you write every day. So you write notes, you write your own scripts, you write outlines, do show rundowns. Like, writing is just huge. So that was really drilled into me at Barry, and it was a great experience. It was a great decision for my career, and I'm glad I did it.
I went to University of Miami. Yes, go Canes. Where did you spend most of your time, like, out? Were you like a Wynwood girl, Miami Beach, like a little of both?
Oh, so see, I'm older, Wynwood. I'm a little bit older, so I think I'm 10 years. You said you're 22?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm 11 years older than you. So there was no Wynwood when I went to Barry.
Really?
There was no Wynwood. No, you did not go to Wynwood.
Is that like just like the Overtown? Like it was just Overtown?
Yeah, there was just nothing there. It was just
okay.
Wynwood. Okay, so for anyone who is not familiar with Miami and thinks that Miami is just South Beach, there's a whole city. There's a whole
people don't know that. It kind of shocks me.
Millions and millions of people and suburbs and other small cities within Miami. Communities, if you will. It's not just South Beach. I got a lot of love for the U. Obviously, Barry doesn't have a football team, and I worked in Miami for 10 years, so I covered the U while I was there. But Wynwood did not exist. So I actually I was a part of the Wynwood developments explosion thing. So there was the kind of the way that, and I'm skipping a lot of other stories, I'm sure, but for me, my experience in Miami, Wynwood, which is like a big arts district now with lots of bars and restaurants, and it's like a great hang, and there's all kinds of places to go. People live there. They it's like a whole thing. There was nothing there. It was just warehouses and empty spaces and some garages, but there was nowhere to go there.
That's crazy to think about, right?
So I've never hung out in Wynwood when I was in college.
I was gonna say, wait, even now?
No. Now I love Wynwood. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yes, no, it's incredible. Wynwood walls, all that. None of that was there. But yeah, no, I hung out in South Beach is the short version.
Okay. So what was it like when you did get your first job?
So I think I was making $8 an hour or something, part-time producing for the Sid Rosenberg show. Like I said, I had interned at QAM, so I knew the program director there. So I was trying to get back in. We made a couple calls, got in contact with my contacts. It's okay, let's see what we can do. And knowing people is huge. People can talk all about oh, your brother this or whatever. You can get a job from someone that anywhere doing anything. If you can't do the job, it doesn't matter and you will get fired. That's it. That's all. Nobody is wasting their money and their time on someone, no matter who they are, if they can't do the job. I mean, if I got hired at a salon and I can't do hair, just because, my cousin owns a salon, what is she doing with me? That's not good business, and no one does that. So having contacts is huge, and it's networking and keeping in contact with people and working really hard at your internship. All that stuff pays off. And that, luckily for me, I did that. So I got the job part-time producing for Sid, and he would bring me on air from time to time, but it was answering phones and running the board and getting copies and getting coffee and working on rundowns and booking guests. And that's what you did. And then I had obviously 3 or 4 side jobs, waitressing and bartending to pay to live in Miami, which isn't, it isn't an impossible task, but it is a mostly expensive place to live. So, but you just gotta make it happen. I was thrilled to have a paying job, have someone give me a check.
For something that you used to do for free.
Right, for something I used to do for free, but also the business is no one wants to hire you if you don't have actual paid experience, not just internship experience, paid experience. But you can't get paid experience if you don't get hired.
Explain that to me. Explain it.
We all ran into it. Every single one of us have had the same conversation. Like, okay, but I want to work for you, but you don't have experience. But how do I get experience if I can't get hired anywhere? So again, I know. Listen, I know. I know. I've heard it myself. But it's the good thing for I would say like graduates and people who are getting into the business now is you do have platforms like this. So you can, and it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I've been in the business since 2007. So I guess it is kind of a while ago, but you know, we had the internet. So you could still make your own website. You could still record stuff. You could still use social media, you know, to promote what it is that you're doing. And that's like something you should always take advantage of. I had a blog for a while. That was like a big platform for me to do, you know, to talk about things and develop my voice and work on stories that I wanted to cover. And it's just as much as you can do on your own to help yourself, especially now, is super important. So managing your social media, making sure that your social media reflects what it is that you want to do. Listen, we all like to have fun on social media, but if your whole Instagram page is just selfies, you take great selfies. But I don't know what it is you want to do. I don't know. Do you want to cover sports? Like if you mix in, you know, some selfies every once in a while, you know, I love a good selfie, but I try to mix it in with, you know, clips from the show.
Soon, Joy found herself shoulder to shoulder with legends.
And what was that like?
Undisputed was an amazing experience. It was really cool to work with Skip, who's been an incredible mentor for me and has kind of changed my whole outlook on how to prep and, you know, be a professional. Shannon's amazing. He's Uncle Shannon. I mean, he's out of his mind and just so fun and full of energy every day. And we were just like a little family, you know, launching this show, going up against, you know, Skip's old show on FS1. And it was amazing. It was really, I mean, we just grew it together and learned how to balance the dynamic of, you know, Skip and Shannon debating and bringing on guests. And it's a lot more heavy lifting than it appears to moderate a show like that. And then I was waking up at 3:20 in the morning because our meeting's at 4 a.m. and we have to be on air at 6:30. And it's 2.5 hours of live television. So it changes your lifestyle completely to have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's the middle of the night, really. It's actually not. Yeah. It's not the morning. It's the middle of the night.
Right.
So you're in bed at 9 p.m. The latest every day during the week. So I mean, just your whole lifestyle. My lifestyle outside of work, it was just completely different than it is not
And you were traveling a lot too, right?
Yeah, we went a lot of places. We went to New York for the McGregor. Not McGregor Diaz, the first McGregor fight that was in New York. We went to NBA Finals, Cleveland's and Oakland's. We went to the US Open. We went to McGregor, Mayweather. We went to the Super Bowl. So we were everywhere. I mean, it was an incredible 2 years.
Transitioning from that to the herd, was it seamless? Was it like, how was that transition?
Yeah, it was pretty seamless because Colin and I had worked together so much already. So I already knew the beats of the show. Learning the beats of a show when you get on a new show is really important.
And in all of your time, who have been some of your favorite interviewees?
Reggie Jackson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Floyd Mayweather Sr. actually is very fun. Magic Johnson, Snoop Dogg, Lil Wayne. I mean, those are some great people to interview.
Just stick out. Yeah, that's pretty intense. Yeah. And what is it like behind the scenes? Like, is everything like how it seems when you're watching at home, like the personalities meshing and all of that?
Well, especially for Undisputed, where it's really high, intense energy and debate, and they're going, and then it gets to break. People think like they keep that argument going to the break, and that's just not the case.
Being a woman in sports is already something where you have to like prove yourself. Do you find that to be true?
I think that being a woman in general, you have to prove yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Sports is a microcosm of society. So yeah, there's female sports fans. And I understand we mostly cover men's professional sports. But most of the people who cover men's professional sports have not played men's professional sports. In fact, they've not even played college sports, and some of them haven't even played high school sports at a high level. Now, they'll tell you that they did, but so that's why, like, I don't ever do interviews with men who want to talk about what it's like to be a woman in the sports business. I'll have a conversation with you about it, but we're girls. I'm not having a conversation with men about it.
We belong here. I just love how it's really as simple as that. We belong here.
Right. Like what? So when someone asks me, and I get asked, believe me, I get asked this all the time. Like, oh, so how did you get into sports? It's like the exact same way you got into sports. The exact same way. How did you get into sports? Did you grow up watching sports? Me too.
Same.
Crazy. Did you grow up playing sports? Me too.
What is your next move?
Right now, I'm just gonna keep doing the show. We'll see. You know, my ultimate goal obviously is to have my own show on network. So that's what we're working for always. But I love working on the herd. It's a great experience to be able to work alongside Colin every day, and you know, we do a great show, and people seem to like it. So
It's like a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. But I'm still doing the podcast, Maybe I'm Crazy podcast every week, which is a fun platform for me. And I just launched the Caffeine Show, Joy Chat, on the Caffeine app on the Fox Sports channel, which is a live interactive show, which has been a great opportunity for me to work with Caffeine. So, like I said, just keep grinding and, looking for the next opportunity and growing. I've learned that the process is very important and patience is very important. Every opportunity isn't the right opportunity, and some things, if it missed you, it wasn't for you. So, which is hard, and it's cliche, but once you experience the things that make the cliche make sense, that's why you say the cliche. So, again, I think that the process of the business is special and important. And I've had such amazing experiences that I could have never imagined being at FS1 these last 4 years. And before that, doing morning radio in Miami. I mean, covering the big three, and, it's just, I've had so many incredible experiences in my career, and all of them, I think, have made me a better person and a better talent. And, you can't skip anything. You know what I mean? So trust the process, whatever. Sixers, okay. There you go. It's right behind you. Yep. The answer. But it's true. You do have to embrace the process. It's something that I've kind of transitioned to this point in my life where I'm studying a lot of goats. Like I find myself like obsessing over everything, Jordan's talking about in Last Dance, and I'm reading Kobe's Mamba Mentality book, and I've kind of like decorated my house. I have Muhammad Ali, I have Michael Jordan, I've got like Prince and Whitney and Tupac, and I just kind of am surrounding myself with this energy of like, what do these successful people all have in common? Like, not just successful, the greatest to do whatever it is that they do have in common. And it's this relentless drive and this adoration of the process of success, like what they have to go through every day, what your routine is every day that makes you better. You are what you habitually do. It's why they're great, because every day they do something that makes them better. And I know it sounds like a lot, but especially during this time when we have all this extra time on our hands and we're confined and we're kind of alone with our thoughts and our panics and anxieties. And listen, I've gone through it, ups and downs. Of course, all of us are stressing out with everything that's going on, but I've also kind of tried to focus my energy on what it is that, what it is in the process that's going to make you better and take you to the next step. So for me, I'm just kind of focusing on that and just being patient, and, whatever God has for me is going to come when it's supposed to. And in the meantime, just crush what I'm supposed to crush, you know?
And on that like same breath, what do you want your legacy to be? Like when you look back, when you're finished with your career, what are you hoping that you would have accomplished?
I hope that, for one, I do make it easier for women and for Black women to get into the business and be able to do whatever they want in the business. I think there's a big space in the industry missing still for opinionists, for women to just have a show and they just give their opinion. They're not there as moderators, they're not there as hosts, they're not there as sidekicks or, you know, special correspondents. It's just their show and just whatever they think, and people are there to hear what they think. There's a lack of that in the industry right now. It's obvious and it's gaping.
I, for one, am always inspired, and like I love seeing people that look like me, you know, being their true self.
Well, thank you. It makes my heart happy.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I love your shirt. I love the jersey. Your setup is adorable, and I love that you went to the U too. It's always nice to talk to a Kane, and now I feel old explaining that Wynwood didn't exist when I was in college. But I also love that you talked to Taylor. Taylor is a friend of mine. She's a wonderful person, Taylor Brooks, whose career I greatly admire. She's an amazing job. And, it's a sisterhood. We're all together in this. I love being able to support other women in the business, even though it's not a thing, but, you know. It's good to have each other's back, so I'm happy to do it, and it was so great to meet you, and best of luck in everything that you do, and let me know if you ever need anything.
I will. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.